Good morning. Let's see if it'll equalize. There we go. Okay. Hi, everybody. How's it going? It's gonna flare me out again. Okay, I'll just get close so that my phone understands that the warming sun, the year getting brighter is a good thing. Good morning, Joe Carroll. How long should I spend saying good morning if, I'll spend 3 minutes. Yeah? No? 1 minute. How are you up there in the north? Good morning. Oh, it's gone. You know, it's funny, the whole thing of here. Let me see if I can get it to learn, teach. I'm all like, ah. Thank you, Joe Carroll, for letting me play. It's like, it can't, okay, wait, let me try it this way. Because I had it all set, and then now I'm like a ghost. Woo! Okay. There. We got that done before anybody else showed up. Thank you. Except I really wanted it to be the other way. I'm really... You know, the whole thing, right, with all of that whiteout stuff is really based on technology that came at the beginning of the last century? Yeah. And mechanical shutters. I should not have done that. But yeah. Good morning. Hi, Joe Carroll. And everybody else who watches this later. Sorry for the shenanigans there at the beginning. I hope some of you recognized a Miranda show reference. Raise your hand if you know who Miranda Hart is and what she thinks shenanigans are. My dear camera, it's okay. There. We'll just try. I'm going to be really still, and we'll try to go from there. I hope you're doing well, and good morning. So I'm going to start with an invocation. It's just going to keep going out in and out, isn't it? And, this is totally appropriate. Now that's for, I think that's more for, Okay. I'm going to use glasses today because I'm kind of at that place where I don't really need them, but I do. These are that 1+1 or something. I'm very blind, so I've been used to, reading without my glasses, just putting the book way up close. So now it's weird. No, I don't need them. Okay. It's a good one. What the fuck? Camera. Okay. I'm going to keep going, Joe Carroll. Is that okay? Okay. Even though it's flaring in and out, whatever. Sons and daughters of the earth, steep yourself in the sea of matter. Bathe in its fiery waters, for it is the source of your life and your youthfulness. You thought you could do without it because the power of thought has been kindled in you. You hoped that the more thoroughly you rejected the tangible, the closer you would be to spirit, that you would be more divine if you lived in the world of pure thought, or at least more angelic if you fled the corporeal. Well, you were like to have perished of hunger. You must have oil for your limbs, blood for your veins, water for your soul, the world of reality for your intellect. Do you not see that the very law of your own nature makes these a necessity for you? That's by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. I'm going to learn more French this week. Teilhard de Chardin, I think. I have to say that again. You must have oil for your limbs, blood for your veins, water for your soul. The world of reality. I don't know why it's not. The world of reality for your intellect. Do you not see that the very law of your own nature makes these a necessity for you? That's good. I am bookmarking that one. I'm going to try and move this around a little bit just to give my camera an opportunity to stop being crazy today. I tested it again. I promise. In case you like the art behind me, that's my daughter's. She gave me a work, and it's a girl holding a peach. It's funny. So often, last week I talked about just dropping the Bible open and picking a verse, and that's kind of how I do the invocations. But that invocation in particular made me cry. It's something that I really thought through this week. First, I want to welcome anybody who's coming in a little bit late, like me. and I just read an invocation from Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, I think. And I suck at pronouncing things. I am one of those people who grew up being a bookworm. And I mean, when I was 18 in public, I called label. No, I called lapel. No, see, I still can't. Lapel. I called it lapel because it was spelled the same way as label, right? And so I mispronounce things. I need to get better at that. That's something I can actually have agency with. But with the death of, and I'm going to say it wrong, I wish someone could like shoot in my ear how to say it. Somebody's going to need to record it and post it for me so that I can, but Teilnacht, you know, the guru, the marvelous, bright soul, right? It's such a complex, I mean, life is so much, at least for me, I mean, I think I observe for all of us, it's such a weird, dualistic thing that, you know, we have this amazing rest in peace master of love and care and meditation and peace and joy. And I mean, his presence is still here. He will be here forever. And one of the most quoted, one of the most shared quotes that I saw this week was where he said, you know, this body isn't me. I'm spirit. I live on. And I'll get in, I don't know if my brain can handle getting into the quantum physics stuff yet this week. I feel like I need to saturate myself in it again and just make sure that I'm communicating well. So I promise, okay, I'm writing down my promise for next week. I'm going to tackle kind of how I see the whole quantum physics thing. And what I got from one of my favorite books, which is called The Order of Time. and just how it's changed how I see the world. But for the most part, it is that we are events. We are events in time, and nothing ends. Like, the deeper you go, the more there even is no time. There is no time. And so people who experience the world and say, and find comfort and truth in, I am spirit, I will go on, I am still here. That's all true. But then you have the invocation today. And, sons and daughters of the earth, steep yourself in the sea of matter. Bathe in its fiery waters, for it is the source of your life and your youthfulness. You thought you could do without it, because the power of thought has been kindled in you. You hoped that the more thoroughly you rejected the tangible. I mean, one of the reasons that I believe that the church can get away with ignoring the needs of others is because of this right here. Because they are able to say, well, we're spirit and we're going to heaven, and soul is all that matters, and the body is evil, and so your body is evil. They're capable of ignoring the needs of fellow human beings because they reject the tangible. You hoped that the more thoroughly you rejected the tangible, the closer you would be to spirit. That you would be more divine if you lived in the world of pure thought, or at least more angelic if you fled the corporeal. I agree with Pierre. I agree with him. He says, well, you were like to have perished of hunger. And I'm going to try not to cry, but I have problems being in my body. Like, there has been some trauma there that I had a long period of my life that was dissociated. But, and so much of being in the body is pain, right? So often it's pain. It's joy too. But often the pain can outweigh that. And that's like impossible. It's impossible. And there's comfort in thinking that I am more than my body. He's not saying that you're anything, that you're only body, right? But he's saying you're also body. And that you must have oil for your limbs and blood for your veins and water for your soul, the world of reality for your intellect. And as heartbreaking as it is, it's part of it, right? Anyway, invocation. That leads me into my favorite book time. I'm already crying, man. This is a kind of funny one or weird one. Oh, man. I need to make a meme of like crying all the time. So, this is one of my favorite books. It's by Colleen McCullough, and it's called The First Man in Rome. And if you are of a certain age, you might have watched some of her miniseries, in particular The Thornbirds. I think I remember The Thornbirds as like one of the first times I was actually, I was aware of being attracted to like a man, Richard Chamberlain. And just like, it was so, dang romantic and all those things. I have no idea if there are any problems with how she presents like Indigenous people and colonialism and all of those things. I have no idea. However, this series, it's her series on Rome. it took me maybe a couple of times to get into, but there are quite a few books, and it's gotten lots of praise for being very accurate to what life in Rome actually was like. So very realistic, but also so grounded in a really intense story that if you want to know, like, actually know, you know how you kind of know things and they're over here. Oh, Rome existed, and Rome is where, you know, some of the roots of democracy happened, and the Forum, and la la la, you know, like, that's sort of general knowledge, but through this book, that general knowledge becomes very real and very poignant and very understandable and relatable. So I highly recommend it. When it says the first man in Rome, I'm not even going to tell you, because that's almost a little bit of a play on words. So enjoy. I have not found the audiobook. I have no idea if it exists. Yeah. I need to send 2 copies of my book to 2 people, and I will explain that in one of the future weeks as well. Kind of a famous person, but I became acquainted. I have no idea if they'll remember me. I'll tell you the whole story later. It's kind of a long story, but it's kind of fun. So I actually have, let's see, this is, yeah, Glenn's. I've said it 3 weeks in a row now. I don't know if you can tell I'm stuffy. I had another brush with COVID, and I have no idea if I have it, but like people close to me were tested positive. So I've been fighting something, and I'm really just sick of getting tested all the time. So I'm just gonna keep going. So I have this, that. So I have 2 copies left. And if you want to comment on this video, if you don't have a copy, I will send you a copy. Okay. All right. All right. So this week, it's been kind of a weirdly, like, intense. Oh, I'm so sorry about this. My phone, I got like the good phone too. Well, I didn't get it. It was a present, and it's not the top of the line, but good enough. So I just want to kind of work through something. As I've been working on like photos and my store and stuff, I've been watching, and I'm just trying to get not stuffy. I've been watching, you know, shows, like have it on in the background, and I would never have predicted ever that I would enjoy the show The Afterlife or Afterlife with Ricky Gervais and The Good Place. My panic, and I guess panic disorder is accurate, and sort of depression and stuff have always been triggered by thoughts of death. Christianity didn't help, because it was the eternal God that I'm talking to. Oh God, it's really bugging me that my lighting is so off. Hang on. I'm just gonna try something real quick. I'm all tangled up with cords. No, we're just gonna go with it. Sorry. Let's see if... Hi, Joe Carol. I'm so happy you're here. I really wish it would change. Okay, wait, here. This way? No? This way? Okay. I'll cut this out I'm going to learn how to edit this week. All right. It's still doing it. Okay. Can you tell me why? No, I'm just kidding. Not really. I'm supposed to be the pro or something. I'm not a pro, you guys. It's so weird how, like, all right, here. Let's try this. It's just gonna have to be there. Sorry, guys. Okay, so, God, it's really bugging me. Hang on. Here, look at the painting for a minute. And I'm gonna try and fix this. Pause, time out, okay? All right. I'm closing a curtain, y'all. I mean, it is closed, but try and make it less. Okay. Excuse me. Let's see if that helps. Okay. Maybe a little. Okay. I'm just gonna be all blown out. The photographer in me really gets annoyed at this kind of stuff. And I work so hard to fix it right. And then it does this. Okay. All right. So, I'm just gonna go. So, I've been watching, Joe Carroll, it's really bothering me. Should I keep trying to fix it? Here. Let's see if more light helps. There. Maybe it will equalize. No, that's not working. Learn. Computer program. Learn. This is in the light. There. We'll just keep it there. Maybe. It's like an antenna. Okay. So, I've been watching these shows. You write me as a ghost. Thank you. I love you too, because it's really annoying. I'm losing my shit. Oh, God. Got really red there. Thank you. I like you as a ghost too. This is a tangent, but if you have not watched Ghost, and I don't mean the American version, I'm sorry. I can't. The British version is too new to me. But the British version, I think it's on HBO Max, is so good. It's hysterical. It's about ghosts. I'm not going to tell you anymore because the first episode is a juggernaut of surprises. So I'm going to join one of them this week. So I've been watching these shows about death, basically, like grief and death. And the last thing that my therapist said to me almost 2 weeks ago was, yeah, we haven't quite really dealt with all of the trauma that came from my mom's death in 2012. And I just want to give a shout out to my family. I adore you. I'm not gonna cry. Hi. So it was a really rough time, and I don't normally watch shows that have to do with, oh, now I'm like a crying ghost. I don't normally watch shows that have to do with like death or children, or I can't even really handle things that say like they're grim, you know? Sometimes if it's like got a really strong, I'm gonna totally make this into a thing. There. I'm gonna pull that out and make that ghost Jene thing. But I can't really, I'm not very good with shows that deal with grief and death. But I've really been enjoying Afterlife and The Good Place. I know I'm late to the party, but you know. And they haven't been triggering me, which has been really interesting. But both of them kind of deal with the question that came up in the invocation and the question that kind of comes up around the death of I'm gonna butcher it, so I'm not gonna say it, but the beautiful soul that died this week, the guru leader. And that is that, like, what is the meaning, right? Do we get to choose? Do we get to choose the meaning? Do we have agency? Do we have the real ability to choose? You know, do we have free will? It's a question that, you know, what makes life worthwhile? And I've talked about Liwi and life is worth itself and all of those things. I'm going to keep my hand on my chin so that my phone somehow sees more flesh and can do this. I know it's been annoying. It's annoying me too to care about the lighting in here, and I will fix it before next week. But you know, what makes life meaningful? And in The Good Place, it's doing things for others. It's being an unselfish person. It's being someone who extends out and helps people. That's how you earn points, right? And in Afterlife with Ricky Gervais, he finds life after his wife's death meaningless. And so he just gives up and he says, I'm going to be as crappy a person as I want to be, and you don't matter. And so he does that for, you know, quite a while. And the thing that saves him is thinking of others, right? But here's the rub. What if there's somebody out in a forest who never really sees anybody? What about all the human beings on the face of the earth who have ever lived here and didn't have social media and didn't have nonprofits and didn't have, you know, accepted ways of helping others? I have to keep my hand here, obviously. You know, what about them? Were their lives meaningful? Like, is your life meaningful if you never see anybody? I think I know. It's probably as close to a belief as anything. I don't know what is going on. Okay. You know, and that is that, yeah. And we think of it as either or. Either your life has meaning on its own, or you have to create meaning by being in the world and by helping people, by helping yourself, by caring about the other human beings in your world. I'm going to try again. There. Maybe that will help. Learn, program, learn. So we think of it as either or. We think, okay, either nothing we do matters or everything we do matters. But it actually is both. Because there isn't any either or. We are here, and therefore there is meaning there. And yet, like, life is its own meaning. Being alive, being here. There's no proof needed. It's why we save babies and strangers. Okay? Life is its own meaning. Life is worth itself. There's no need to create more meaning in order for it to be worth it. I don't agree with the basic... I do not agree with the basic premise of heaven. I don't even agree with the basic premise of the good place. Except in that they are showing that including others in one's life in a kind, caring way adds meaning to a life, right? It actually helps us see our own worth as well. But if for some reason, I mean, this is real in a way because so many of us have experienced the last year and a half with far fewer people in our lives, far fewer opportunities to be kind or, like extend out because we've been needing to stay alone. Well, has that taken away all the meaning of this year or our lives? No, it hasn't, because those lives matter. Like and I don't mean like all lives matter. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about how life itself is the reward. There's no need to earn more. And this comes down to that Christian and probably pre-Christian, I'm going to have to look that up, thought that somebody messed up at some point along the line and you have to pay for it. And so if you're paying for it, then you have to be unselfish. And I was talking with my friend Val Jones, who is a coach, and I'll post her information in the comments, but she interviewed me for her podcast and it's called The Selfish Woman. Like, what a trigger. I mean, what a trigger title. High five, Val, because being self-centered, being selfish is the big, huge bugaboo. I mean, it's been used to control people for eons. However, and even in these shows, right, in The Good Place, if you are a selfish person, if you think of yourself first, you go to the bad place. And so there's not a whole lot of nuance there. In understand, I mean, I know why. I mean, it's a TV show. However, it doesn't have to be an either or proposition, okay? I don't know why having my hands near my face is fixing this, but we'll keep trying. So I go back to, like, you have to do things to earn your life. You have to do things to earn your life, and doing those things proves that you were worth it. And so that feeds into then, if you don't do those things, then your life has no meaning. Now, I do think that figuring out how to I look like a fish. Okay. Sorry. I think I might have ADHD. figuring out how to be in a world full of people, of course it makes sense to be kind. And it's not that it even makes sense, because sometimes it doesn't make sense, right? But to me, it's a basic fact. Just be kind. Just care. Because if at the root of it, there is no time and we're all existing, and we stay and we leave and our bodies change and we stay and we leave. I'm going to keep doing this because it's still bugging me. Then being, creating, I don't think of it as creating meaning. I think of it as happening upon meaning and discovering meaning and joining with meaning. Because there's a flow there, right? And what we've seen is that it does make a difference, which is why it's been turned into this whole thing. There it is. Okay, there it is. So here, wait, I'm going to try. I'm going to get really close and we're going to try and figure this out. As human beings, we tend to, we want to codify. We want to make sure we know. We want to make sure we do it right the next time, right? And so when unselfishness and trying to create meaning worked way back whenever, then over the centuries and out of a sense of like an attempt to control people, we have, via the church, and I mean the church with a little c, they made caring for other people into a tool with which to control. And a tool with which to punish. So if you aren't if you don't subsume yourself, your own self, for others, then you are evil and bad. So that's where they twisted in order to tighten the control. Instead of acknowledging that you have meaning without that, and you don't need that to get into any kind of heaven. You just, being kind and unselfish comes from a place of worth instead of a place of unworthiness. And there's the key. If it comes from a place of worth, of just wanting to care and share with the rest of humanity, you might say creation, there's where it's healthy. But if it comes from a place of no worth, then it's never going to work. And that is shown in, now, there's that little thing, right, where when you do things for other people, quite often you do find yourself. So, I'm not going to get into more. We'll talk about, like, the redemption kind of, I'm blocking some of my light here. We'll talk about, like, the redemption fallacy. It's one of the things that, now I am going to talk about it real quick. So part of that, and in the whole, like, I was taught, like, the Christian, that Jesus needs to save me, and I'm not worth anything if he hasn't saved me, and nobody else is either, is that you're kind of always waiting for someone to save you. Like, that's the muscle that it strengthens. And the one thing that I've really enjoyed about Afterlife and The Good Place is that there is There is agency. We do have choices, and we can decide to change things without waiting for someone to save us. And that's kind of where I've come this week. Full circle from thinking, knowing that my life is meaningful just on its own without any need to create meaning. But that, and there's the mystery, such a mystery, that when we seek meaning, the worth of our life without it and without the need to create it becomes clearer. I'm going to think more on this, and I hope you do too. Joe Carroll, thank you for saying that that I'm fine even as a ghost. And I'm going to shake things up next week and maybe broadcast from someplace else that has better lighting. See the ghost face again. Okay, no, I'm not going to do that. I love you guys. And this week it feels more disjointed and kind of crazy, but this is really what I hoped to do in thinking through some things and talking about it. So I don't promise that it'll always be polished, or sometimes I may not make sense, but I'm trying to make sense of things. And I really appreciate your being here with me to do that. I have a lot of plans, and I just want my energy to catch up. So I'm working on that. Plans to share stuff with you and to do stuff. So take care of yourselves this week. Be in your body. Experience the world. And enjoy the spirit. Love you. Bye.